You know, you can grow potatoes in a tub really easily.
And the kids love doing it as well.
Yeah.
And
well,
why aren't
we teaching? I said, I was talking about this to a client the other day, and I said, and she's a teacher actually, and I said, why are we teaching kids Romeo and Juliet? And like you said about food tech, they do cakes, buns, things like that. We're not teaching them how to grow lettuce, how to grow vegetables, or if I have a coffee, it's just a stimulant. So
your
it's
body
like
just
alcohol.
getting
It's
rid
like alcohol. It's like some people will say, oh, you know, I'd never have a poo, but then when I go out on a Friday night, I tend to go to the toilet. Well, that's because it's high in fat and high in alcohol.
Yeah. But it's another interesting thing though. Kids should maybe learn about it so they do know what's up with them, so they don't have to. So on this week's Disciples of Truth, we have Kirsty McEnroe. She's a colonic hydrotherapist. I'm not cutting it out either. Hydrotherapist and nurse.
Yeah.
So thank you for coming on, Kirsty.
It's all right, Greg.
So how long have you been a nurse before? And what got you interested?
So I'm giving my age away. So I've nursed for 25 years. That's in November. But I've been a colonic hydrotherapist for 20 years.
Yeah.
Worked in lots of different fields. Currently working in intensive care, where we do all the like oncology stuff.
Yeah.
But the Incleanse side of things, the colonic hydrotherapy, that's my passion now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, what do you think the main cause is with people with bad colons, and what is the most familiar thing that you see coming up?
I think modern lifestyle.
Yeah.
I think how we live our lives, whether it be through poor eating, processed foods, how we live our lives in with regards to we work, we're home, we work, we're home, we work, we're home. Stress massively is a really big thing. And just eating how we eat as well. You know, we rush as foods, we don't take time, and all that has a massive impact as gut. I know that from experience, and you asked me, didn't you, why I sort of got into colonic hydrotherapy, and that was because I suffer with IBS.
Yeah.
And that was because I just want eating the right foods, I want looking after my gut, and I was just talking to a colleague who actually worked in ICU and also was a colonic hydrotherapist, and she went, oh, come and see me, come and have a colonic. And I was like, what's that? I don't know what that is. So I went, and I was really nervous, even though I knew her. And I went and had it done, and I was like, oh my God, this has changed everything. So she did a full consultation. So she looked at things that were aggravating my IBS, and we picked up that it was wheat. So I stopped eating wheat. And then I was like, felt so much better and thought, I need to look into this because this is big. So I researched into it for about probably 2 years, having colonics, doing a lot of reading, and just understood the benefits about gut and how it affects our whole body. And that's what sort of took me into training to be a colonic hydrotherapist. So my own experience has sort of led me to where...
Like your compass,
Yeah, it's led me to where I think we always do, we should listen to what his body's telling us. And my body was telling me, right, Kirsty, go do this, have it done. And then researching into it made me think, oh yeah, this is the way healthcare is going, is looking after his gut, because it's looks after the rest of his body.
Yeah, and it can be there. Is it your kidneys as well? Also, is it every 3 days they'll change the molecular structure as well, don't they? And it's just important. Just where does it give you a new lease of life as well? Like since you've got it under control, the IBS.
A really big thing for me was, as a woman, we all don't like this little bit around us tummy, do it, as belly. And I just found that, like, when I'm going out for meals, or the big one was like, when you go to a wedding, and you have soup and a roll, don't you? And I'd be saying to my friends, oh, I can't have the bread. oh, why can't you have the bread? Oh, because it makes me bloat. And then if I've got a nice little tight dress on and I'm eating bread and then I look bloated, and that would like, I know it seems really a small thing, but for me at that time, it was quite a big thing.
Yeah.
So that sort of highlight to me was, well, that really bothered me. So when I stopped eating wheat, I didn't have that bloat. So I know where I needed to eliminate things out of my diet. And it would with my body telling me, Kirsty, you shouldn't be eating this sort of food. It's not
Yeah.
good for you. But yeah, it was affecting me aesthetically because I didn't like that little bloat.
Yeah.
So not having the discomfort, not having the bloating,
The confidence.
and yeah, absolutely confidence.
Yeah.
You know, and there's a lot more things with IBS that can be a lot more debilitating for people that they might have urgency. So that might then prevent them from going out and having a meal because they think, well, I can't eat that and I can't eat that. So do you know what? I'm just not going to go out with my friends. I'll just eat at home, which is really sad because food is it's a medicine, isn't it? But
Yeah.
it's also a social thing, isn't it? It brings us all together, and that's really sad that people can't go out and eat as a family or as a group because we're worried what might happen when we go out.
Yeah.
So it is about listening to our bodies, what's our bodies telling us, so that we can say, right, well, that's not good for me, that's not good for me, this is good for me, and then changing lifestyle and food habits to prevent them things from happening.
What would be your tools to find out how and what we should be eating? Because we like on an individual level, some foods work better for others. Which way would you go around it?
Listen to your body.
Yeah.
But I've just explained, haven't I?
Yeah.
Listen to your body. If your body's reacting to a certain food,
Yeah.
then there's a reason behind it. Some people, it might be that they get breakouts or they get eczema or they get constipated. It's just listening to your body and going, right, okay, my body's reacting to that certain food, so why is it?
Yeah.
And it could be anything. It could be gluten, it could be dairy, it could be peanuts.
It's dairy with me.
Yeah.
Dairy with like cheese, and I love cheese. And it's not that I have it often, but I only have a patch on my eczema, and it'll just start flaring.
Yeah.
And breathing as well with that.
Yeah.
But it is like for me. It was when I started playing about with diets and started putting stuff in and taking them out and going, oh, is that? And it pisses you off because some foods you don't really want to kiss goodbye. And I fully haven't done it yet with some of them.
But you don't have to. Sometimes it's not about taking them out of your diet forever.
Yeah.
It's taking them out of your diet for a period of time so that your gut can heal. Because a lot of the time, them sensitivities or intolerances are caused by leaky gut.
Yeah. Is leaky gut then, from my understanding, is it like when the colon's got too full and then there's kind of yeast, there can be like a build-up?
So how I try and explain it to my clients is if you've got like a fishing net, right? So naturally when we eat food, we get vitamins and minerals through our gut wall and they get transferred to his body where it needs it. Now, sometimes when that wall's been damaged, whether it be from poor diet, stress or anything like that, what happens is them little nets become bigger.
Right,
so instead of just the normal vitamins and minerals and water that we absorb through the gut wall, what happens is that undigested food, them toxins leak through, and it's them that makes them holes bigger, so them bigger molecules can get through that gut wall, and it's that's causing the intolerances rather than the food itself.
Yeah.
And it's healing that gut wall so that them foods that aren't meant to pass through into our bloodstream don't.
Yeah.
And then introducing it back into your diet.
Yeah, there was something that really like caught on me because me and the lad who I work with, we've ate crap for years, like just the amount of crap we go out at Craig's, Subways, and like not even just like big cookie and like the full works, and it was only towards the end he was like, I feel like crap after these, and didn't realise for ages, like, oh it's the food.
Yeah.
And then we switched back over, and I'm thinking, how did I manage to take all that? Do you think it is that your inner walls in your colon get so like full that it doesn't absorbing? It can allow you to eat all them toxins.
Yeah. I think
That's what I had in my, like you're trying to picture it out.
Plus, we've just talked about reading this book. What's it called?
Yeah.
Remind me.
Rational fasting.
Yeah, and that talks about all these mucus forming foods, don't it? Which are all them processed foods.
Yeah.
So what happens is not only are we eating all these processed foods, that mucus forming foods are then causing that, what I say, it's like glue that sticks to the wall of your gut.
Yeah.
So then it damages it.
Yeah.
Plus, we're not giving ourselves time, because we're constantly eating, aren't we? Breakfast snacks, lunch snacks, evening meal snacks, and we're not giving us colon time to rest. We call it rest and digest.
Yeah.
Because that's what caveman did. They
Yeah.
rested and they digested, didn't they?
Yeah, well, no one were eating first thing when they got up in middle of dark. They didn't have a fridge freezer.
No.
Or on a night, and you just like... I've been listening to Cherry Hogs, and he does dogs, obviously, but he's like, after 18 months, he went, you're killing... If you start feeding your dog more than twice a day, you're killing it.
Yeah.
He says, once a day. He says, some days they won't even eat in wild. He
Yeah.
says, the molecular structure, all of them are healing.
Yeah.
They're going through autophagy. It's like, needs to be
Yeah.
done. And he says, we're the same. Why aren't you? I mean, she eats better. She don't have a choice, so she eats better than us all the time.
But they don't, and dogs don't starve, do they? I mean,
No.
I feed my dog once a day, and that people do say, oh, that's cruel, because why aren't you giving him breakfast when you're having breakfast? I went, well, I don't actually have breakfast a lot of the time.
Yeah.
But our colons are so packed all the time of food that we're not giving our body time. And it's just how we're brought up, aren't we? Or you get up in the morning, you give your kids cereal, don't you? And then they'll have a snack bar or a piece of fruit, and then they'll have the lunchtime at school, and then they'll have something to eat, and then they'll come home and have the tea.
Yeah.
And it's all on time, and we shouldn't actually be eating at times. We shouldn't be looking at a clock, because there wasn't a clock in caveman time.
No, it's like feeling
Just
to
eat,
when you're...
just eat when you're hungry. You know,
Yeah.
people sometimes might look at me and go, why aren't you eating? Well, no, I'm not hungry.
Yeah, I'm not eating for the sake of it.
Why do we need to eat? Not saying that I don't go out for meals and stuff like that, I do, but I listen to my body a lot more than I used to.
Yeah.
If I'm hungry, I'll eat. If I'm not, I don't eat.
Yeah. See, mine's been... Zoe's picked up on that a bit. When she were putting a bit more weight on what I wore, but I said, I have an active job, and I went, what we're going to start doing? I says, I nearly got a slap for this. I says, plates. I says, I'm going to start plating you up a little bit less. And she's like, why? And I went, because I'm burning all mine off. And she started to watch it drop off her then.
Yeah.
And it's just understanding where you're at with stuff, isn't it?
And we do overeat as a society, and I think that's just how. I know how I got brought up as a kid. We're like, eat your food. Kids are starving in Africa. Well, they're still starving in Africa. So me not, eating that plate full of food isn't going to have any impact on them. It's like a guilt trip, yeah. Or if you don't eat that, you're not having a pudding. Well, that's blackmail then, isn't it? So we're blackmailing as kids to eat foods. And kids will stop eating when they're full.
Yeah.
But adults won't. They'll just continue to eat.
See, we tried a new one now. It says, like, if you finish, don't mind, you finish.
Yeah,
but there's
yeah.
nothing else. Like,
Yeah.
don't think there's any sweets.
Yeah.
But that food will go inside, and next time you want something, you
Yeah.
tell me you're hungry, you'll warm it up, and they don't ask for anything.
I don't like warmed up broccoli. No, thanks. And it stinks from it as well. So.
But yeah, it were interesting, the rational fasting and what they were saying about bread. Saying if you do eat it, try eat it toasted, because obviously it breaks down a bit easier.
I've heard that.
I'm doing
I don't
so
know
far.
much about that.
I'm 2 weeks into no bread, and I've
Right.
realised there's a lot of like for me, it creates a lot of brain fog.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
I realised after I've had it, it's like slumped, and you
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
really want to do any
Yeah.
of them tasks that you
Yeah.
had to do.
I mean, bread's one of them things, isn't it? I mean, it depends what bread you eat. I mean, I do eat.
We were sourdough.
I love
But
sourdough.
still, I love it. The problem is, like, when we buy a loaf, it lasts 2 days in here, because we're like...
Yeah, and it's really expensive. In fact, I laughed other day. I bought some sourdough, and I was really looking forward to it. Sourdough, avocado, and Celtic salt. And I came home, and my son was sat at the table, and he'd sliced the whole sourdough in half and put chicken in it. He was sat there, and I went, "Please tell me you're not eating all the whole." But I'd rather him do that
Yeah.
than go to Greg's and get a white loaf from there, because it's just full of sugar, and that's why we get the slump, because you're getting that spike, and it's full. It takes all the goodness out, and it's just filled with a load of rubbish.
Yeah.
So yeah, bread's banned in our house. The only bread we have is sourdough.
We've noticed it. It's like they want to eat more if they've had that. If you give them fruit, they just have fruit and it's sound.
Yeah.
And it's just knowing habits. Like again with cereal, I was listening to Diary of a CEO. They had someone on about junk food, and they said the companies know what they're doing. Like Kellogg's, when you have that insulin spikes, and it's like they've noticed that you could eat another 3 bowls of that. If it was something else, you wouldn't eat 3 bowls. It'd stop.
They brought a big thing about Kellogg's, and I was reading it with a podcast that I were listening to, and it were about that it were Kellogg's that brought in that breakfast is the best meal of the day.
Yeah, it were a propaganda machine. It were crazy. Apparently, if you go watch I watched a documentary on him. He were nuts. Well,
it is nuts, isn't it? Breakfast isn't the most important meal of the day.
But it was just, they knew that they could get into minds by putting it onto TV. Look at it now. It is
great characters, fun for kids. And then like putting toys in it and stuff like that,
and
made it even worse.
Where they said as well, they'll put them at eye level. You know, when they have the characters, they'll make sure they're at eye level with the character. They know what they're doing, and they're great at marketing. And it was same people from the cigarette industry, the marketers that went into the big food.
And that it's all on TV, and you watch it on TV, and all the markets it's all processed food. I can't remember last time I watched a TV programme and it talked for kids about healthy eating, or there's just nothing like that at the moment.
I said even when I went back to school, I said it wasn't called cooking, it were called food tech.
Yeah.
And like they were getting you ready for ready meals or whatever. And I watched a thing the other day, and he was saying, I think it were 80% of Brits, their food is ultra processed. Because no one's got the time. I get it, a lot of people don't feel like they've got the time to cook a decent meal because they're gassed out. But if they looked at what they were putting in their bodies, they wouldn't be gassing out. It's like this perpetual cycle.
Yeah, I mean, I have some fun sometimes going into supermarkets and watching what people are putting in the trolleys, and it's all in a packet or in a box or wrapped up. There's no fresh food anymore, and I get it. Oh well, we don't have time. Well, just work one day less and have less money because you're just going to spend it on materialistic stuff, and have some tubs in your garden. You can grow potatoes in a tub really easily.
And the kids love doing it as well.
Yeah.
And
well,
why aren't we teaching?
I said, I was talking about this to a client the other day, and I said, and she's a teacher actually, and I said, why are we teaching kids Romeo and Juliet? And like you said about food tech, they do cakes, buns, things like that. We're not teaching them how to grow lettuce, how to grow vegetables. We're teaching them how to give them, like you said, processed foods.
The sad thing is that when they asked him to take some stuff in the other week to cook some, they asked him to take all packet stuff. And I'm like, so they're teaching them the easy way out? No. And I always say, like, it's the love that you put into it when you're cooking it, and it's took some time to do it. It tastes better.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think if kids can see things growing as well, they're more likely to eat it, and they make it fun, don't they?
Yeah.
Like I've just given you some kefir, haven't you? Now I look forward to hearing how your kids will enjoy, growing that and multiplying it and knowing that it's good for them. Rather than going to school and baking buns that aren't going to be great for us because they're full of sugar.
Yeah. Well, this is the other thing is everything's free. When they say money don't grow on trees, well, your biggest layout now is probably food, and it grows on trees.
It does. It grows in woods. Last week I was in some woods in York foraging mushrooms.
Oh, well, yeah.
Yeah.
I've been wanting to take Archie on that. See, this is the kind of thing that I think is coming back because people are still finding the way of how they're doing it. Like, if you take them out on Saturdays and you get a little foraging basket and someone shows you what you can go around and do, and then it keeps them more aware. Next time they go out in the woods, they'll go and they'll share it with their friend. Oh, did you know you can...
There's so much abundance of free food out there that it's ridiculous why we're not doing it. Like people are willing to spend £2 or £3 in Sainsbury's with a punnet of blackberries when they know if they just walk down end at road, there's loads and loads of trees that they can just pick it from and it's free. and you're getting them outdoors into nature doing it as well.
Yeah.
Why are we not doing that with our kids?
They love it as well. We went to a train ride. I can't remember it. We were over at York, and you could these really old trains you got on, and then you walk back down this train down this line, and all it had were in people's gardens was apple trees, pear trees, and
Yeah.
then it had all blackberries, and
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
what we did all the way down.
Yeah.
I mean, you couldn't get tilly off them. Like, another blackberry, just got it all round the mouth.
Eating all bugs as well, which is good for them actually,
Yeah.
because they're building up their
Immune system.
They're building up the microbiome, aren't
Yeah,
they?
yeah.
Which is the foundation of our health.
Yeah.
You know, it's like a bit of a rainforest, and we need to build that up. And we're so there's a lot of people that are keeping the kids indoors or don't want them to get dirty, or
Yeah.
the alcohol gel and everything. And I think COVID were a big thing for that. People were frightened of it, and as kids need to play out, they need to get into dirt.
Yeah.
And there's this big, I think I watched a podcast on it the other day, and it's like, we need to start eating dirt, and we do, because that's how everything develops in that colon, because it is an abundance of good and bad bacteria, which we need to support our whole body, really.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
And like, there's now channels. I don't know if you've seen him as a scouser, called Exposing Your Plate, and he goes around all these supermarkets,
Right.
and he breaks down what's in them. He's like, they're just a concoction like of bad stuff, and he's like, the pesticides that you're putting on these foods, they're ripping your gut microbiome worse apart. And I watched it. I seen this meme the other day, which made me laugh. He's like, we're the only species that puts poison on his food and then eats it. Like, you must have seen it with your dog, or they've done experiments with pigeons where they've put out GMO food, and then next to it the same, like say some apples there and then some GMO apples, and they don't know the difference, do they?
Yeah.
But the smell, and they'll go for the other one first.
Yeah. I've not seen that. That's
So it's
fascinating.
like, but
really,
when
innit?
we ain't got them senses
No.
anymore, it's just,
No.
it's like, I don't know, worked where he went, there was that local farm, there was some really shiny apples. I'm like, I hate to tell you, they're probably ones that you don't want to be going to. He went, why? I went, because they're highly waxed.
So, yeah.
He went, but aesthetically, your eyes like shiny apple.
It's a marketing thing, isn't it? And it's how we've been brought up. You have a right shaped tomato, and it's coloured nice, and you think that as that's gonna have all the nutrients in it that we're meant to have, rather than the wonky veg that's next to it, which.
It was the other crazy one as well. I wouldn't say crazy, but when you first start getting into it and you start really asking yourself, they're like, these aren't real bananas. I'm like, why aren't they real bananas? They went, because they haven't got seeds, and everything that is like from, if you believe in God or whatever, everything should reproduce.
Yeah.
And it's, if it hasn't got seed, and all, I didn't know there were seeded grapes, and it's like, things have got watered down.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
It's a shame, innit?
It is
It's a
interesting,
shame.
but
Because how do we, if we're not eating the right foods, how are we staying healthy? Because end of the day, food is medicine, isn't it? And it keeps us alive, and we need it.
yeah.
And if we're not feeding our microbiome, which is, I know there's billions and billions and trillions of microbes in his gut that are linked to all different things in his health. And if we're not feeding that right, then how are we going to be healthy?
Yeah.
If we're feeding it rubbish, we're going to end up with health conditions, aren't we? Well, we are. People.
Oh yeah, you can see it in maths,
scary.
can't you?
Yeah, it's scary.
Because colon cancer's gone up through the roof, hasn't it?
So I think we've talked about this before. So in young men, so in age from 25 to 49, colon cancer's gone up by 50% since the early 90s, and that's shocking. That's scary to think that that's happening.
It is to think we're an advanced civilization.
Yeah, it's scary, and it's frightening to think that these are young men that are gonna, have kids, or they're who we're looking up to, but and it's debilitating. It's not just them going in and finding a tumour and taking it out. These young men are having debilitating operations, and I see this in because I work in ICU and it's all oncology, and we do all the major bowel surgery.
Yeah.
And I see it, and it's shocking, and it's frightening to think that it's going up so much. But we're causing that. We're doing that. in something that's evolved, we're causing that to happen.
Yeah. Where do you think the education starts then on it?
I think we've got to educate ourselves, you
Yeah.
know, end of the day, we're human beings, we can't be ignorant, we've
Yeah.
got to look at what it is we're eating, what is it we're doing, are we sitting on his backside all day,
Yeah.
are we really, really stressed, what foods are we eating, what are we doing in his life that's causing that, because there is a cause,
Yeah. Yeah.
there is a cause and it's happening, but it's finding out what that cause is and being proactive in our own health, which we're not. We're quite ignorant. We've been very
Oh, yeah.
ignorant. We've got to take some responsibility.
Take ownership.
We
for your
can't
own-
blame everybody else for being unwell.
Yeah.
We've got to look at what we're eating. Are we exercising? Are we being mindful? You know, all them things are contributing factors to cancer.
Because it's like kids should be shown what real food is against what, and then they should be shown. Oh, have you seen what the side effects are to eating this? And you show them from a young age to be like, I don't want that happening to me.
Yeah. But that should be taught in schools, don't you think? Because I think we can't always put the onus on the parents because we do enough, don't we, as parents? We work and finding the time to do that is hard.
Yeah.
So I think we should be bringing some things out of school that we're not going to really use or aren't going to benefit us, and teaching, getting kids in schools where they're learning about how foods are grown, you know, what's healthy for us, what's not healthy, and letting them make them choices. Because I'm sure if I'd have been taught all them things at school, there's lots of things I probably wouldn't have done or eaten, or, you know, I can remember my mum, you know, she babysat for me son when I went back to work, and I can remember Jake coming home from her house one day and saying, "Oh, we've been on this amazing adventure today, Mum." And I expected him to say something like, "Oh, we've been in woods, or we've been doing this." And I says, "Oh, what did you do?" And he went, "We went to McDonald's." And I was like, "Right, that's not an adventure. That's torture." That's actually that. I know. Obviously, my mum were looking after my son, so I couldn't say anything. But why does he think that's an adventure at that age, at 5 year old? Why did he think that going to McDonald's was an adventure? Because it was all a gimmick. It's all they got a little meal, and it were all colourful, and they got a toy, and it were nothing to do with the food. It was with everything else that were around it.
Yeah. It's Well, that's one thing I asked about. Actually, what's your favourite thing about Daddy? And he's like, you always take us somewhere new, like adventure, like it's in woods or it's somewhere that we haven't been before. Try to keep it up, and it is that it's. I've tried saying to Archie, how do you feel like when we went to a play centre a bit ago and they did, he had a fruit shoot and he went, I've been through like 3 weeks in there, and I went, because he normally drinks water, does Archie? I'm not gonna be a Hitler and say you can't have stuff, and he went, why is it? And then my wee's white as well, and I went, your body don't like it, it's flushing it out. And he went, oh, is it? And I went, yeah, you've noticed it, why do you not
That's
wee
great
like that?
You've seen that in
So if you're then making him aware, like you say, we all need the awareness of what works and what doesn't with his body.
It's listening to it, isn't it? It's like, obviously being a colonic hydrotherapist, I'm always saying to people, view your poo.
Yeah.
And because it tells you so much about your body, and, you know, we talked about colon cancer, and there's things that change that we're not looking at that could have probably identified that before it got too late. You know, Jake's always saying to me, Mum, just come and have, when he was younger, obviously not now, he's 18, he don't ask me to look at his poo now, but when he was younger, if he noticed any change, he'd say, Mum, we just come and have a look at this, because it tells us so much for the consistency it comes out, how often it comes out, what colour it is. It tells us so much about our body.
Yeah. And we don't think, so many people don't think on that, do they? At all.
No.
Like, I have no problem saying it. Like, years ago, I probably only go twice a week. Yeah. It's crazy to even think that.
Yeah.
And you realise once you start changing your diet, it loosens up.
Yeah. And it's like, twice a week, if you put in food in your body 3 times a day, if you look at it physically and you're putting that in your body, surely that should come out at the other end. And people do think that's normal. Like, I have clients coming up to them and I'll go, are you constipated? And they'll go, no, how often do you go? Well, I go once a day. You're constipated. If you're putting food in your mouth 3 times a day, that's how often you should be going.
Yeah.
And it's because they're probably not eating the right foods that are pushing all the poo through.
Yeah.
So they're not eating fibre-rich foods. But that is a norm, isn't it? We think
Yeah.
that's normal,
The
and
thing
it's
that
not.
started scaring me is like, how long has it been sat there?
Yeah.
Like, again, that rational fasting was talking about, when it's sitting there, that's when all these things, parasites or whatever, it can start. It's a feeding frenzy for them.
Yeah. And parasites are so common at the moment, and that's like a lot of. It's been a big topic recently.
Yeah, as
With my clients coming in and saying, I think I've got parasites. Well, yeah, you probably have done, because we live in a modern world. We have pets, don't we?
Yeah.
We travel, we eat raw food, we eat sushi. So all them are contributing factors to parasites.
Yeah.
And do we deal with that? No, we deworm as pets, don't we?
Yeah.
But we don't deworm ourselves, and that's one thing that we should be doing is...
How often do you think you should be like going for a colonic or enema or what?
It depends. So anybody that's never had a colonic, is always, they're going to have processed foods out there. They're going to breathe in pollution. They're going to put stuff on their skin, which is always going to cause a little bit of build up in the waste matter.
Yeah.
So anybody Joe Blogs walking down the street that's never had a colonic, I'd say a course of 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's like peeling layers off an onion. You come and have a colonic, we work the whole way around the colon, but it's like taking a layer off. So how I try and explain it is, if you go into an old house and you've got loads of layers of wallpaper, you chuck a load of water it up, you scrape it off, and then you come back next day.
Yeah.
You chuck a load more water at it, you scrape it off, and when you come for your third colonic, you've got to that wall, that cement, and then it's about looking after it. So we always advise a course of 3, taking over a maximum of 3 months, and then maintenance colonics, because you're never going to go back into the world and never do all them things I've just talked about, are you?
Yeah.
Because we live, don't we?
Yeah.
And it is just about maintaining it.
Yeah.
Some clients might need more often, so I'll have probably MS clients that bowel's probably a little bit sluggish, so they're not clearing the bowel as well as they should be, so they might have to come more often. If clients are going through fertility, so that's a really good thing, because we don't want them toxins building up. We want a really good alkaline environment. But for anybody that's generally just maintenance, every 3 months, 4 times a year.
Yeah.
And then you talked about enemas. Love them.
I want to do a video. Well, I'm going to do a video because I've seen this post that came up on Instagram, and it says like this lady, really good looking, at the side of a pool, and she's like talking about this enema, and she's like made it look pretty, and I'm like, fuck off.
Yeah, it ain't pretty. Especially the first time you do it, it's so
My
hard.
missus helped me. Like, I think it was on a Friday night. I went, what has our Friday nights come to?
Yeah. But do you know what? Those that cleanse together stay together, don't they? There's a big thing about that. But yeah, enemas are good. There's loads of different enemas that you can do. Water enemas, coffee enemas. You can do aloe vera. You can do chamomile. So it's picking what's right for you.
I did the apple cider vinegar and salt, and I've actually bought off who you sent me to. I've got the coffee one to do.
Yeah. So the coffee one's not Nescafe. It's medical grade coffee that has to be used, because what the coffee's doing is cleansing the liver. So what it does is it produces or helps you stimulate the glutathione in your liver, which gets rid of all your free radicals.
Yeah.
So that's your clearing system. So your liver's really, really important. It has about 500 jobs. So we need to make sure that the liver functions well, and a really good way of doing it is by introducing coffee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why do people need a crap once they have a coffee on the morning as well? A lot of people.
Because it's a stimulant.
Is it?
It's like people who if I have a cigarette, I'll have a poo, or if I have a coffee, it's just a stimulant. So it's
your
like
body
alcohol.
just getting
It's
rid
like alcohol. It's like some people will say, I'd never have a poo, but then when I go out on a Friday night, I tend to go to the toilet. Well, that's because it's high in fat and high in alcohol.
Yeah. It's another interesting thing, though. Kids should maybe learn about it, so they do know what's up with them, so they don't have to.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's interesting.
So how often have you? So you did the apple cider one. How did you find that?
Intense, like
Right.
I'd say, because it was Charlie who told me how to do him. Because I went to Charlie before. It was the 444 cleanse where I came to you,
Right.
wasn't I? I came to
Yeah.
you after. Yeah, doing. It just doesn't stop, does it? Like,
It's
but you
like
just like
the
it's
world's
just
coming out your bottom.
yeah, and it's
Yeah.
like, but it will after. I think you sit down on the toilet. Yeah, you let it all go in first. I think that was for like 5 minutes, and then you try hold it and massage as it's going in
Yeah.
for like 5 to 10 minutes, and then it's like sit. Yeah.
Yeah. And
I was just astonished, to be honest, and because I did 4 days of it, I think I did the 3 days and I did the colonic with you, and I just gobsmacked. I wasn't eating at that point either. I was fasting.
Yeah.
So I was like, what?
Where's it all come from?
Yeah, and that's where it really was a big eye opener
Yeah.
as to how long ago was that meal? What meal is that?
Yeah. And that's the thing when people come for colonics, so I always say you can never lie to a colonic hydrotherapist because when obviously you've noticed, haven't you, when you have the colonic, you can see what's coming out, and I'll pinpoint things out to clients and say, oh, that's just compassed, or that's compassed, or that's, oh, look, there's some sweet corn. God, when did I last have some sweet corn? Oh, it must be. Can't remember. So that's staying in your body.
Yeah.
I mean, sweet corn don't digest anyway. It's really rubbish. It's got a coating on that's good for his eyesight, and that's about it. So it's a really good way of working out what your transit time is, because if you eat a tin of sweet corn, you can see when it comes out in your poo, you know how long that's. And sometimes it can be quite long. That's a long time.
Yeah.
You know, and clients are shocked to think, oh my God, I can't remember when I last had that.
Yeah, they also say to do it like with beetroot and stuff, don't they? Just so you can see when it is passing through.
And that's a good colonic to do. I did one on a girl that had done a beetroot fast, and it was a pleasant colonic because it was all purple. And then I did one on a lady, and it was just butter mushrooms. I think she just inhaled.
It didn't even chew them.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. We don't chew.
That's what where I've started to look at like where religion or whatever gets stuck into it is like listening to the Essenes, and he was saying when you've got your food, chew as much as you want, and that's what Jesus were apparently in the scene. He says chew it until it turns to liquid, so it's nothing taxing on your body.
Yeah. If you think your alimentary canal is basically it's breaking down foods all the time, the major one happens here. And if we're not breaking it all down, by the time it gets to his stomach's going to really, really struggle.
Yeah.
And if you think, like I mentioned about seeing it in the waste, end of the day, if we're seeing food in his poo, it's not in his body. So we're going to end up with nutritional deficiencies. Mm-hmm. So if we're not chewing his food, we're going to end up with nutritional deficiencies, and then we're going to get health concerns. But it's such a big thing at the moment. People just rush too much. You see people walking around town with a mobile phone, eating a sandwich and walking. So we're trying to tell his body to eat, talk, walk and listen.
It's about being present. And
absolutely.
It's like, it's took me, I haven't even got there yet with every meal. But because of being a plasterer, and when we were eating it, like, you're in the middle of it.
Yeah.
So like you're doing all this, and it's took it hard to get back out of that. Yeah. So when I'm sat, I put the phone away and try to be just present with it.
Absolutely.
But you do, and try to think about what you're actually eating. Like I love a fruit bowl and granola.
Yeah.
And try to think when you put it in, try to identify what taste you're having.
Yeah.
And
smelling it and everything. Yeah. Because we don't, do we? We sit in front of TV. Well, I don't. I sit at table as often as I can, but people sit in front of TV and they're like that. I had one guy in a few weeks back. I came to him with digestive problems. Right, where do you eat at home? What do you mean? He says, where do you eat at home? He says, in my bedroom. I said, have you got a table in your bedroom? He went, no. I went, well, where do you eat? He went, laid on my bed. So he's laid on his bed watching TV and then wonders why he's come to me with gut issues.
It's crazy. Yeah, I mean, what's your take on that with Japanese and stuff like India? It's a lot of Asian cultures, isn't it, of squatting while eating? Because I said it's great for you as well.
It's upping up your digestion, isn't it?
Yeah, there's a guy who I followed. he's English, but he were down south, and his missus came home and he'd cut legs off everything.
Oh,
So he's all like sitting on the floor. But he's never gone back, and his mobility's great and
Yeah.
stuff, and digestion.
Yeah,
He's
yeah,
like, it's normal. It's only because I don't know if you've seen it in Japan as well. They all sit on the floor, don't they, while they're eating?
Yeah, because it just opens up your digestive system. Plus, they're probably sat with the family chatting. Yeah, they're probably not watching television. We underestimate how important squatting is, and even not just eating but pooing as well.
Yeah.
Toilets are man-made. You know, we're not meant to sit on a toilet. We're meant to squat
down,
and
yeah.
it gets his digestive system and everything opened up yeah.
It's more that I've watched animals. You watch how they do it. Like, they gear up for it. We just
Yeah.
that's all. What's the biggest? Oh, sorry, that were a question that I wanted to ask. It's just something that's rolled over mine recently. Is with cooked foods, I like piping hot food, but you probably couldn't hold that food how hot it is, but we're putting it straight down. You know, when we're eating it, and you think about your insides. I know, when I were doing the enemas, it's like, don't have it hotter, and I felt the difference when I've made it a couple of degrees hotter. It felt it burning my insides. I thought, how much damage could we be doing with piping hot food? Could it be causing like stomach ulcers?
I reckon so.
It's something that's
we
really
shouldn't have
flavourful.
anything really cold, and we shouldn't have anything really, really hot, should we?
No.
Our internal body temperature is a certain temperature, isn't it? So I think if we're doing any extreme, then it's not doing as body any good. I don't know the
Got to like
physics
work overboard
behind
for it,
but yeah, it can't be.
Something had me thinking. So how early would you be saying to introduce colonics for the everyday person?
So because of anatomy and physiology, we can't treat anybody under 18.
Yeah.
There is therapists out there that do it in Germany and places like that, but for our insurance purposes, we can't do it for anybody under 18. And again, it's individual, isn't it? It depends what their lifestyle's been like previous to that.
Yeah.
But yeah, as soon as you can.
Yeah, because do you think the big problem is no one comes to a colonic hydrotherapist until it's like too late, and until there's actually all warning signals are flashing?
Yeah, so that's mixed now. So what I was seeing maybe 20 years ago, people were coming to me because it was the last resort.
Yeah.
So they'd been to the big GP, or they'd done this or they'd done that, and nothing were helping. So colonic were like the last resort. So people were like chronic digestive problems. But do you know what? That's flipped now, where people are now going, well, I know colonics are good for me, so I ain't got any symptoms. I'm just doing it because I know it's good for me. So I'm getting a lot of athletes.
Yeah. It's interesting because that as well, if athletes are going to it, they can also promote that for children, can't they?
Yeah. And even athletes that probably lived quite a healthy lifestyle. I had a lad in a few weeks back actually came with his wife. They both came down to the colonic and they watched each other while they both had it done, which were interesting. And I think he came with his wife because she wanted it, but I think he just came for moral support, and he ended up having treatment. And he went, I don't know why I've come, because I'm really, really healthy. You know, I'm doing a competition next year. I'm but like bodybuilding, but not like big bodybuilding, like, you know, physique. Like, and he went, so I don't know why I've come, because I've been eating really, really clean. Well, we laughed throughout the session because we just couldn't believe how much was coming out.
Yeah.
And he went, but I've been eating so good these last few years. Where's all this come from? And I went, it's come from back then, you know. So it doesn't matter how well we're eating now, it's how we've eaten back then. So I think if we're teaching kids to eat right now, then they may not have to go down the route of having colonics so often.
Yeah.
But there's always going to be an element of pollution, toxins in there from, like I said, putting stuff on our skin, breathing in. There's always going to be that. So
we've all been doing opposite, haven't we?
Yeah.
Sunscreen, all the rest of it.
Yeah.
And I've started to watch animals and just like, they bask out in sun. That's where they get energy from. And I'm like, where does it? I asked my son, I'm like, how does that tree grow? It's like, through water and what? Sun? I'm like,
Yeah.
and we're told
Yeah,
not
yeah.
to.
We're told not to go in the sun. We're told to wear sunglasses,
Which shuts it off.
which shuts
Yeah.
it off.
I don't wear them. I used to be a keen
Yeah, yeah,
shades wearer. I
yeah.
tried to look for a word then. Couldn't get
But
it
we
out.
don't. I mean, sun's so good for us. In fact, I was watching this guy the other week, and he was leading sun with his bum in hair.
Yeah,
Have you seen that?
Certified health nut goes on about it all the time.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's
literally.
hilarious.
His anus was out in the sun.
There's loads of them doing it. I can't say I've done it yet, but they said because it's the membrane on the anus is so thin and it absorbs it
Yeah,
more.
yeah.
I don't know if his ancestors were doing that, but yeah, I'm not
Well,
here to judge either.
they did funny things. Our ancestors were doing colonics. I mean, it's back in ancient times. Egyptians were doing colonics. This isn't a new thing. This has
No.
been around since 1500 BC. You know, they were doing it then. I think they called their
They watch the bird.
in that book. I think they called them the anus shepherds.
Yeah.
Something seemed like that. Come on, anuses, come on.
Well, they were watching the birds down on the Nile, weren't they? Like for what fourth Trismegistus is, the god. When they'd seen the bird get ill or whatever, after a couple of days, they were watching it, and he'd get water from Nile and poke it up his bum and
Yeah,
brush it out, or flush it out, and they're like,
yeah.
because again they were being observant of other animals and like wanting to know why they're doing certain things, and then they
Yeah.
realised
Yeah.
we can do the same.
Yeah, yeah. I think they did in ancient times. I think they got reeds, rolled them up, sat in the current, put the reed up the bum. That's how they did
Yeah.
colonic hydrotherapy then. But I mean, you know, through just how we've evolved,
Yeah.
it's obviously a lot different and it's a lot more sanitised.
Yeah.
And cleaner now. But it's been around. I mean, I've been doing it 20 years, and I can remember when I did my training, our lecturer, she'd been doing it 25 years, and she said that she trained from somebody who'd been doing it 30 years.
Crazy.
So it's been around a long time, and I think it's only more popular now because it's social media.
Yeah.
Celebrities are talking about it more, like Princess Diana were a major advocate for it, not just for her mental health but for her skin as well. So she did it as like a facial. And there's more like Gwyneth Paltrow. She's really a big one into doing it.
Yeah.
And she's got the Goop company now, hasn't she, where it's all about.
She's got with my friend Sylvia. She's got a company that sells candles that smells like fannies.
Oh, right.
I'm like, that's a new one.
Well, I don't smell my own fanny, so. But
I was just gobsmacked. I'm like, who back? But I mean, there'll be some that buys. I thought that's where you were going with it, to be honest.
No, I won't gonna. But if you want to go there, we can. I'm a nurse. I'll talk about it all.
But yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? So I forgot to do. I'm thinking about.
You're just thinking
candles.
about smelling fannies now, aren't you?
Candles.
Oh God.
What else were there? So, like, with the parasite cleanses as well being quite, I'd say they're in media's eye a lot with stuff now.
Yeah.
Where would you be, like, how would you find out that you've got parasites?
So we've all got them.
Yeah.
Like I said, you know, even just like foreign travel, swimming, gardening, stroking our pets, we've all probably got We've all got parasites. We've got them in his nails everywhere. And some of them can be microscopic and they won't do us any harm, but there will be some that will.
So it's like them tapeworms where you see them.
Yeah. I'll tell you a story about a client when we've talked about this. It's really interesting. But we've got to be really careful on how we treat them. So there's lots of questions that I'll generally ask clients during the consultation, which if they've travelled, do they sushi, do they do this, do they do that, that might highlight to me that they potentially might have a parasite. We can do testing, we can test for parasites and we can treat them as well. And you can do parasite cleanses.
Yeah.
So I'll do, if I think somebody's got a parasite, then I might treat them with herbs.
Mm-hmm.
You can eat pumpkin seeds, loads of different herbs you can introduce to help with the cleansing of the parasites.
Cloves and stuff in that.
Yeah, but you've got to be really careful because you could get what they call die-off.
Yeah, I've heard you got to take like diet. Well, when I did it with binders,
Yeah,
like
yeah. Psyllium husk and
psyllium
charcoal.
husk.
So there's loads of things that you need to help, because if you're getting rid of the parasite or you're killing it, you need to get rid of the eggs as well.
Yeah.
So you don't want to kill the parasite and then be sat with a load of eggs in your body. So die-off's quite common. So it's doing it really gently. And at the end of the day, we've got to go to work, haven't we? So there is some really good parasite cleanses out there that you can do, that where it's gentle and it's over a period of time. But you know, you look at other international countries, and they do it.
It's just given, isn't it?
It's, you know, I'll have African ladies and they'll go, oh, yeah, we used to do cleanses all the time when we were back home.
I've seen it, yeah, in like Eastern traditions. They said that the kids will do 2 a year, and the adults will do 4 to 6.
Yeah.
And it was just common practice.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's fascinating that this has only just come about through social media. I wouldn't have known anything about it.
No.
I'd seen someone do, I think, it was like celebrities years ago with a colonic, and I must have been about 15 when I remembered, like, what the hell's that? Warm water.
Yeah.
They're seeing these things go past.
Yeah. I mean, some of them you've got to be, you know, like there is some colonic hydrotherapists out there that'll say, oh, look at this big tapeworm coming out. And a lot of the time it's not a worm, it's mucus.
Yeah.
So it's just being sensible about whether you think you've got a parasite or not.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, a lot of it is through foreign travel. In fact, I'll tell you that story now. So I had a client come to me who had a really big abdomen, and she'd gone to a GP who'd treated her with angina because she was waking up in the middle of the night, 3 o'clock in the morning, with like this indigestion type pain. And she came to me and she had like literally a GTN spray like this outside while she was having a colonic. And I was like, oh my God. So when I did the consultation, I was like, she's got a parasite. She was like, no, I ain't. It's, you know, angina. And in fact, she'd even been to A&E a couple of times, and they'd dismissed it and said, oh, it's just your angina playing up. So I treated her for a parasite. So I put herbs in to help get rid of the parasite. And then one day she rung me up. She said, you'll never guess what's happened today. I went, what? She went, it's come out of my mouth. And I said, what do you mean? So what had happened was she felt something in her mouth. She thought it was like a piece of chicken or something like that. So she pulled and pulled and pulled, and it came out like a worm. She ran over to a sink, and I, at this point, going, did you get a picture? Did you get a picture? She went, I didn't. I was chopping it up. I was trying to chop it up, but she'd turn the tap on. This is where it gets scary. She'd turn the tap on, and it opened up like a fish. It opened up like a fish. And when we'd looked back, after I'd met her, after all this had happened, we traced it back, and it was a parasite from pork. So all her symptoms went back, and she'd gone to Cuba, and she said, I'd had some pork, and I immediately felt unwell. And ever since then, I've had this problem.
It's crazy.
And it were linked to the parasite from pork. And this pain that she'd been getting, one angina, it was the parasite waking up. And that's what it does, it wakes up at night. So a lot of people will complain about this indigestion or waking up at night or an itchy bum. And she'd got both. And so that's my
it's crazy,
funny story. Of
the
parasite living inside me. But bless her, I mean, she's like a different woman now. And her husband always says, you saved my wife's life. You saved my wife's life. And I said, I didn't. I just got rid of the monster inside you.
Yeah, it's great. Oh, I couldn't imagine one coming out of my mouth.
No.
It'd be quite scary, wouldn't it?
I mean, they do live in us, but we've just got to be aware that we cook us food right, we eat the right sort of foods, and we just cleanse.
See, that's why it's quite interesting for me, because a lot of religions say to stay away from like pork and stay away from like shellfish, because anything that's like a bottom feeder, also they have parasites within them. And I thought, with all this information coming out now, and then seeing why pork's one of the main things why to stay away, and they say salmon, unless it's wild caught, that's like heavily infested with them. It's And then when they showed the faces, you know, when they get them under a microscope and then zoom in, and
Parasites.
they look like demons. Like that's
Oh,
what they were saying.
God.
But they says if you understand, they can control your thoughts. Like I don't know if you've done a cleanse before.
A parasite cleanse.
Parasite cleanse.
Yeah, yeah,
The thoughts that you have, like when that die-off's happening,
yeah,
it's horrific. It's
yeah,
like quit.
yeah,
You just
yeah.
want to quit.
And I felt when I did the parasite cleanse, I had a lot of, and people are going to think I'm weird now, a lot of like spiritual stuff going on, and it was really bizarre. And I felt like I was getting loads of like messages sent
Yeah,
to me at that time that I was doing that cleanse, and it was the most bizarre feeling ever.
yeah.
But I knew it was working because I had all the symptoms of the reaction to the cleanse.
See, I've got some at the moment. Like I get a lot of whitening on tongue. I have the copper spray, it's scrapers, but to take it off. But they also say when you're doing the fasting or doing any kind of cleanse, try pray for it, to rid them,
Yeah,
to get them out. Because you realise people like, oh, they can't control your thoughts. And I'm like, it's no different than us living on Earth.
yeah.
We know where to get food, we know how to get water, we
Yeah.
know how to manipulate things.
Yeah.
They're living in your body. They know the buttons to press.
Yeah, absolutely. Which is a scary thought, really, isn't it? That something like that can change.
Well, it's
How you
changing your
think,
thought process,
how
and
you
it's
think.
like
Yeah.
sometimes it'll skip off, and it's like, oh, you want that sugar, and once you realise that it's the big one for me is realising when you think you're hungry, ask yourself what food it is you've got in your mind's eye. Like if it's a sugary snack, ask yourself why, if you were really hungry,
Yeah.
it wouldn't be a wholesome meal.
Yeah.
And you'll think,
Yeah.
what is it that's trying to take me to that?
Yeah. And it's like you mentioned about the parasites or the bad bacteria or whatever, like clients will come to with major sugar cravings and they'll go, I've got these major sugar cravings, and I'm like, no, you aren't. It's the bad bacteria, and you got them little men that are going, feed me, feed me, feed me. And guess what you're doing? You're feeding them sugar. So guess what's happening? They're multiplying. So it's about learning how to manage them thoughts and what you do with them rather than going, oh, well, I will have that big bar of chocolate. It's like, right, no, I'm not going to eat that because that's not good for me, and it's going to make them bad bacteria's worse.
The thing that I noticed as well when I started not using like sugar, coming off a cup of tea, and I used to have one sugar, then I took that out, and then I was doing the herbal teas, but I had it with honey, and you started taking stuff, and when you're having the bitter stuff, it tastes really bitter at the start, but once you've got used to it, you've realised there's something within that's wanting that sugar all the time.
Yeah. And it's amazing when our body talks to us and we just don't listen, do we?
Yeah.
We're so bad at it.
Yeah, well, it's like tomato sauce with kids. You're like, oh, I love tomato sauce, but I don't like tomatoes. I'm like, no, you love sugar. There's a big difference.
Yeah.
There's a massive difference.
And sugar is, I say this to all my clients, sugar is the killer.
Alzheimer's, all the rest of it is like flying up. What's the word? Why can't I think of it? With your hands, arthritis. They said that it's very much tied to arthritis because it's clogging all your lymph nodes.
And it's hidden in a lot of things, even like things like baked beans.
Yeah.
And how many kids eat baked beans? Loads, don't they? It's like for some families, like it's a staple, isn't it? And it's full of sugar.
Yeah.
It's full of sugar.
It started to make me question stuff, even like when you're wanting an alkaline diet, and one of the most acidic foods you can eat is raisins, and you're like, what do we give kids all the time?
Yeah.
Sugary, acidic raisins.
Because that's
I'm
how
not
we've
saying
been
to have them at all is not bad, but I'm like, every day.
Do you know what? It's everything in moderation, and I always say to my clients 80-20 because they're not going to go out of my clinic and eat 100% healthy.
I don't think you can in this environment.
Well, you can't because it's how we produce food, and it's about teaching kids 80-20, innit? So if we're good 80% of the time, we can be naughty 20% of the time, innit? And it's just about getting that balance right. It is difficult because I don't think the foods that we're given in supermarkets is good.
No, it's not. And like going back to Japan, what they're doing at the moment, each teacher, it doesn't matter if you're in food tech or if you're teaching maths, they all have to do 2 years nutrition first. And I'm like, That's what's great about the internet now. You can see how other
Yeah,
countries
yeah,
are doing things and going,
yeah,
why can't we adopt that? And I
yeah.
was speaking to a guy the other day because I were on about like doing these fresh press juices, and he was saying his friend had done a good company of kids juices, and he says we tried got it into schools. It's a really good product, and he said the school system actually said it didn't have a high enough sugar content in it, and I'm
That's
like, that's
shocking.
criminal. It is when you're putting them kids, you're serving them to say they've got ADHD and they
Yeah,
can't sit still.
yeah.
Boys can't sit still anywhere. I'm
Mm,
not saying like there's a sexist thing here, but then you give them a lot of sugar and they can't sit,
no.
and then you're going, oh well, we've got some meds we can put them on. Like it's
And it's
lighting the
big.
fire. It's gaslighting.
It is. It's big at the moment. You know, ADHD, autism, all things like that. Why is it the statistics going up?
Yeah,
Then why? And even adults in the 30s and 40s are getting diagnosed now. Why have they got all them conditions? And if you look back, it's all linked back to the gut.
yeah,
All linked back to the gut. I've got books and books on it, and it's all linked back to the gut. And if you look at the history of the foods, it's we're not feeding them. We're
no,
not feeding them right. And even like depression, anxiety. Um, we're not born with them conditions. We're not
no.
born with depression or anxiety. It's all linked back to the gut.
I found it interesting as well because I didn't know the other day. They said that 80% of the men's genes actually create the child, like what comes out. And I was looking round and I was thinking, with people's waistlines or what they're eating, it contributes more what I'm eating, how that child comes
Yeah,
out,
yeah, yeah,
than it does the woman. I'm not
yeah,
saying the woman doesn't have their own
yeah, yeah, yeah,
standpoint and be
yeah.
able to take care of stuff well in pregnancy, but you look at ADHD or autism, it's at such a high level
Mm,
now. Like
yeah,
you must know so many people
mm,
with them, and
yeah.
I was saying to my missus, you don't see many girls having it either. It seems to be a lot more boys.
Mm. Why is that? Yeah, that's shocking, isn't it?
But
Um,
is it to do with sugar? I
yeah,
don't know.
and possibly, and you know, end of the day when we're reproducing and we're producing kids, what's our body like before we're trying to conceive? I mean, the fertility thing. I mean, I did a course on fertility. I'm a foresight practitioner because I was shocked about how many people now are struggling to conceive,
Yeah,
struggling to conceive, and that's just because of
modern living.
modern
Yeah,
living.
they said like with testosterone's halved
Yeah,
since going back. But
yeah,
I've seen society all these health and safety regulations when they're like lowering what you can carry. It's going to make weaker men.
mm.
And
Yeah,
it's by design, yeah.
yeah,
Like the plaster bags used to be 50 kg. They've been 25 since I have. But now it's like even plasterboards, they're 25 kg.
right,
They tell you that two people's got to lift that. So you've got a man that can only lift 12. But you keep on doing that over time, progressively over
yeah,
time. You haven't
yeah.
got anyone.
That's shocking, isn't it?
Crazy.
But yeah, get fasting because that increases your testosterone, doesn't
Yeah, it
it?
does, yeah. Well,
Yeah.
this is where I think it is we've all got a remote for our
Mm,
bodies, but we've got to press the right buttons and
mm,
we've got to know
mm.
it's like, and the body does like stress, like whether it's cold water therapy, it's going for sprints because you think your DNA doesn't know any different than think you're running from prey, so it
Yeah,
switches all its
yeah,
DNA
yeah,
on,
yeah,
and
yeah,
it's same with fasting. It's like you're stressing it and give
yeah,
it you're giving it time to look within and start clearing all crap out.
yeah, yeah. I mean, there were, I don't know, what, I can't remember what it was I watched, and it was talking about the caveman, and, you know, the caveman was put in a stressful situation because they were arguing, well, you can't deal with stress if you're hungry. Well, actually, there's proof that you can actually deal better with stress when you are hungry and you've got better mental clarity because you're not bombarded with all that food. You
Yeah,
actually uh,
opens the senses up.
opens up the senses and you can actually hunt that tiger or whatever you're going to kill because you aren't clouded by rubbish food and you aren't trying to digest food.
And then if you back engineer that, we're in a society that doesn't have them senses, and we're wondering why we're making bad choices one after the other.
Yeah,
And it
yeah.
started with that. I work at customers' housing, and I don't try to judge. It's just being aware. Like when I say like when they're eating at 7 o'clock and then they're sat in front of TV all day, and I'm like, where does it all go? I like the
Yeah.
things that you no mobility or And you can see most of society when they're walking down the road, you can tell when someone's walking with ease or they're walking in discomfort. And you're like,
yeah,
you can you have the remote to change
yeah.
all that round.
But it's people having that knowledge in it and saying, right, rather than waiting until something happens, I'm going to prevent that from happening. And this is where science is going now. I did a test a couple of weeks ago, and it was talking about your microbiome. Have you heard this, where it's all
Yeah.
linked to your microbiome now? So this is where science is going. Oh, it'll be exciting to go
Yeah.
testing DNA and your microbiome, because all the microbiome species in your gut are linked to different parts of your body, whether it be
Yeah.
your eyesight, your lungs, your skin, your brain, whatever. So now what they're doing is they're testing your stool. And it's testing all the trillions of bacteria in your stool to see where there's deficiencies.
Yeah.
So what we can then do is go, right, well, you're deficient in this bacteria, which is linked to your skin. So you're going to end, if you don't deal with that, you're going to end up with eczema or psoriasis. There's this that's linked to Alzheimer's. So if you don't deal with this microbiome, you're going to end up with Alzheimer's or dementia. And it's really interesting. So I did one a couple of weeks ago, and I thought, oh, I don't know what mine's going to come back. So I'm 52, going through menopause, and I don't want to go on HRT. Don't want to be taking anything
What's
like that.
HRT?
So it's like hormone replacement
Yeah.
therapy.
Yeah.
Because we've got a family history of breast cancer. So there's studies that say that you shouldn't take hormone replacement therapy if you've got that history. So I did this test going through the menopause and thought, oh, what's out? Anyway, one of the microbes, the only thing that I was deficient in was linked to my hormones. So I've had all these hormone symptoms of menopause, and it's sleep, um, cloudy brain, so a little bit like a brain fog,
Yeah.
which is hilarious. Sometimes my son thinks it's funny. And a little bit of anxiety at times.
Yeah.
And this test that I did highlighted that a certain microbe in my gut was deficient, and that was linked to my hormones. So if I then just feed that microbiome with all the food that it needs, then my menopausal symptoms will be less. How fascinating is that?
That's quality.
And that's how it's going now.
Yeah.
So it can, like, you could do it.
Yeah.
And it might be something else that it'll highlight. It might highlight the deficient here, and it's going to affect this. So that's where science is going now.
Yeah.
Here at Disciples of Truth, we're proud to partner up with Charlie's Apothecary. Charlie's got some cracking products. I mean, cracking. And to start off with, it'd be Cordyceps, and it's the first product I actually tried at Charlie's. And it's a dual extraction, and Cordyceps is renowned for natural energy booster, helps fight diseases, and it's great for sex drive for those that care to wish, and and you can wish. But no, on a serious note, I don't like, well, if you're going to the gym, if you've got low energy, I don't like the pre-workouts. This is great with a few drops of water. Swig it down, swirl it around your mouth, and off you go. And it can be aided throughout the day. And then the next product we've got is my personal favourite, is the fall blended salts. Salts gets a really bad rap through propaganda and doctors saying that we overuse it, when it's not true at all. To get the best salts in is one of the most natural ways of getting all the essential minerals into your body flow. So I'd give it a go. And it has Salinas del Carmen salt that originates from the Canary Islands, Fuerteventura, if you really want to know. It's one of the highest grades that you can have. And then it's got another three blends to go with. And the next product we've got, it really doesn't need an introduction. It's Shilajit. You must see it everywhere. It's got 85 trace minerals. And it's good for energy, mental health, and clarity. And this is sourced from the Himalayan mountains. And I've tried many different brands of Shilajit, and I'd put this at the top of the ladder. And it's really nice packaging as well. And then last but not least is the oregano. It's the triple extraction. This is good for boost immunity, gut health, lowers cholesterol, fights inflammation, it aids weight loss, and I've just personally used this. The house got some of his family members got sick, and it kept it off, and I haven't managed to get sick through it. Same again, putting water, swirl around the mouth. Brilliant products. What you also get from these products is it's handcrafted. He puts a lot of time and effort, him and his team. It's UK only at the moment until it expands more. So it's only UK only, postage and packaging. What Charlie also does is he grows his own mushrooms. So we know that they're tried, tested, and they're also for freshness. So hit the link in the bio and go check out Charlie's new website. So all his range of products is on there, and there's something for everyone. So yeah, go check it out, guys.
That's also what I was going to ask is what would you think's a more favoured diet for your colon? Like, would you believe that it'd be more vegetarian or fruit, or do you think meat should have a place in the human body?
I think again, it's everything in moderation.
Yeah.
I don't think we should be eating a lot of red meat, but it's where we're getting it from,
Yeah.
where we're sourcing it from. Is it organic?
Mm-hmm.
But I think for your colon, it definitely needs to be high in fibre
Yeah.
and an abundance of fibre, because that's how we push things through the colon.
Yeah.
Fruits, it's a controversial one. Is that again? It's where we get it from. But some fruits can be high in sugar.
Yeah.
You know, like there were a big thing ages ago where everybody were on these bullet, smoothies and juices and stuff like that, and they were just doing fruit, and they were coming to me with really bad guts because they were just having too much fruit. So I always say berries are your best form of fruit if you're going to have them, and then just different sources of fibre, and just going with all the different colours and not eating the same things all the time.
Yeah.
Rotating your foods every 3 days.
Yeah, they said like it should look like a rainbow colour.
Yeah.
Should your food
Yeah.
so it's got a bit of everything,
Yeah.
because also things are colour coded as well, aren't they?
Yeah.
You know, to where it helps in certain parts of the body.
Yeah. Like a lot of clients will come and go, I have chicken and rice and broccoli every day. And I'm like, well, that's not doing you any good, because you're not getting all them macronutrients from loads of different foods. Are you just eating 3 foods? And that's not good for
Mike
us.
Tyson was saying he went, I can't even look at chicken anymore. He says,
Yeah.
I look at one. He says, I'm constipated for 4 days.
Oh,
It's
God.
like, I guess it's what I started doing when I was playing about with my diet. I was asking Alexa, I says, how long does it take to digest? Like, before a workout, I'm
Yeah.
like, mango, it's like, 6 hours, date,
Yeah,
a couple
yeah.
hours. And it's like, fastest one's watermelon, I think it's 20 minutes. And then I was asking, like, with pizza, and it was like 2.5 days.
Yeah.
2.5 days. I'm like, to even digest.
Well, you've just sort of hit the nail on the head. What I was going to talk about is it's how we consume foods as well.
Yeah.
If you look at a plate, people will see, they'll have the bit of chicken, they'll have a bit of potato, and then they'll have a bit of broccoli. When actually we shouldn't be doing that, because the meat's going to take longer to digest, so we should be eating that first, then the potatoes, then the broccoli. In fact, I've talked about this about a client, was it yesterday or the day before? And she was talking about her kids, and we were talking about having things. She went, and then I'll let them have a pudding after, and they'll have a piece of fruit. And I went, well, don't let them have a piece of fruit after the meal, because they're going to digest that really, really quickly, and then all it's going to do is sit on top of the meal, and it's going to ferment, and that's not good for us. So it's about how we eat as well, and the length that times it takes to digest, because... Yeah, so you can, Alexa, how long does it take me to digest broccoli? And that's a really good thing you're doing, because you then you're knowing what your body's doing when you're eating.
Yeah. It's like, I'm quite interested in all these different ways of going around it. It's like mono meals as well, when people are like, just eat the one thing. Like, if you're eating watermelon, just eat the watermelon.
Yeah.
It's like, because it will digest. And you're thinking, when you're out in wild, did you go around and make this buffet?
No,
It's like, you wouldn't have had the chance of doing
you're
it.
right. You probably just went and ate an animal, or then you went and had some berries, or you had some grasses, or it's modern eating, isn't it, what we're doing?
Yeah, it's insane.
It's insane. But the thing is, it's abundant, isn't it, in supermarkets?
Yeah.
You know, we don't even eat seasonally now.
No, that's my one that I want to go back to. I mean, after that exposing your plate, he's going to start listing all the organic farms that you can go to. So even the farm stops that we go to now, they're not organic.
No.
It's still their stock, what they're pulling in from other places.
Yeah.
And I think that's what you're going to see, a massive shift in society, is the people who are looking after themselves things are going to work out quite brilliantly, because that's what it's all about, isn't it?
Yeah. Going out and, you know, we talked about foraging. That's the way forward, isn't it? Because that's what food are in abundance, and that's what we should be eating.
Yeah.
You know, so if there's mushrooms in October, go eat and eat mushrooms.
Yeah.
You know, if there's blackberries in autumn, eat blackberries in autumn, and that's how we should be eating now.
Yeah, well, we had a relative a bit ago when we went on holiday, and she went, "Oh, mango here is well better than what we get back at home." And I sat and thought about it for a bit, and I'm like, yeah, because it was grown here. Like, if anything that travels don't travel well. I mean, even I always remember people going on about Guinness. I know it's not fruit or all, but people like it travels shit. It just doesn't. But no, it does travel well.
Well, it's like bananas, isn't it? Bananas so like 3 weeks old before we get them. Something like I've heard that somewhere.
Yeah, and apples they're like 6 weeks. It's great. Well, you can have an apple in your bottom of your fridge for ages and it just don't go off.
No. Well, I get them from my dad's allotment, so I'm quite lucky. But we should be providing more space, shouldn't we, for where people can grow food.
What's your like standout no-nos in additives in food that really aren't good for microbiome? Because I've just going through mine now. You said apples. We were making apple crumble the other day, and we didn't have time to make the custard. And I've noticed what custard does to me. It's just terrible. The smells after it and the mucus the next day. I notice it straight away. It's like it doesn't like it. And I think that's dextrose that's in that.
Yeah, which is the sugar, isn't it?
Yeah.
It all boils down to sugar.
Yeah.
But I mean, you only need to look on back of packets these days and what have they got in them, and if you can't read them, then just chuck that packet away because it's not good for us.
No.
But it's time, innit? It's just having that time of getting a load of fruit and vegetables and lentils and pulses and stuff like that and cooking them, but just batch cook.
Yeah.
We can freeze.
Yeah.
We can freeze fruit and vegetables. My dad's got an abundance of blackberries because he's got an allotment and he just freezes them all. You know, we can freeze food. All the nutrients and everything are kept when we freeze food. So just batch cook and freeze it.
Yeah. No, thank you. So, is there anything else that you'd like to leave to listeners?
Look after your gut. Look after your gut and it will look after you.
No, thank you for coming on, Kirsty.
All right, thank you.